So welcome everybody tonight to the February 12th Conservation Commission meeting. Tonight we're going to be again working on our planning through doing some brainstorming and then some prioritization of the things we want to do with the decision matrix that Lori has worked very hard on. I'm so impressed. But before we start, are there any adjustments to the agenda or any changes that anyone has?
Nope.
Oh, no, Patrick, no. Lori, no.
No.
If Penny does get on or come, I know that she would like to talk about town meeting and the town meeting display. So I'd like to add that to our agenda. Again, not sure when she's coming, if she does come. So is there there isn't anybody from the public here at the moment, but we'll just wait a couple minutes for the public comment. And shall we just wait 2 more minutes? Oh, from the sounds of it, I think Penny is coming down the stairs. Actually, maybe we should do that first. Hi, Penny. We just started. There. So, okay, I think she's going to go find something else. Perhaps. Okay. So, did anyone go to the event at the town hall on Saturday night? The dinner?
The flannel? No.
Yes. The flannel? No.
No.
I wanted to go and I just forgot. I got into doing something and then all of a sudden around 7:30 I went, oh yeah, there was something I wanted to go to, so I'm sorry I didn't get there.
What was that, Karen?
The flannel dinner?
Oh, yeah, I was behind on my front porch forum and I missed it altogether. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, it was a dinner that Mike, Pat, what's Mike's last name?
Fulham.
Fulham, that's right. Mike's Fulham worked on and put together and did a lot of cooking for, and then people came and it was a fundraiser for Cmsn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
This year. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, so do you want to go first before we do?
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
So, all right. So I guess in our adjustment to the agenda, Penny will be talking about some ideas for the town meeting.
For Green Up Day.
Oh, for Green Up Day. I'm sorry. Okay, that's good.
Maybe town meeting.
That's good.
What I mentioned, as I mentioned before, when I went to Green Up Day last year, it was very windy. And so Karen had a card table and had a number of handouts on the card table, and the wind blew them all away at one point, and we ran around trying to find something to hold them down. So we found some rocks, but it was very hard to find the rocks. And then there were these dirty rocks on the handouts, and you couldn't, just didn't work out so well. So it niggled me that it seemed like there would be a better design option for that. In addition to that, I was doing some workshops on jumping worms, and I had flyers that I wanted to hand out too. And I also wanted space on a table to have something other than flyers. So I went through a couple of iterations, and I'll just quickly show you 3 options that I've come up with, which aren't very professional, but they're just some options. So first, I was thinking about the problem of the wind blowing away my jumping worm flyers, and I came up with this idea of buying from Staples these are holders, acrylic holders for I don't know what, but you could put a flyer in. I don't know. Can you see that? Where's the camera, by the way?
Well, you need to,
Oh, over
a little this way.
here.
Oh,
Flyers.
oh yeah, that way.
Okay, these are acrylic holders, so you can put the flyer in the holder and then lay that on the papers horizontally, and the wind didn't lift up my jumping worm flyers. However, the wind at the town garage is pretty stiff. So then I thought, well, how else could you hold them down? You could put a rock on them, but then the person carrying all the material would have to have 12 heavy rocks that they would have to cart around. And I also thought if there were bricks or something attractive, somebody would steal them. So I came up with this idea, but I thought, no, in the end, I thought kids are going to take these. These are those rocks that you put in vases, with flowers. So they're attractive little rocks that I thought you could put in Tupperware, and then you could hold everything down with that. So then I thought, well, kids are just going to steal that because they're cute. So then I thought about this idea. I'd seen Pat Savalas at her invasives workshop, and she had one of these. And so I thought maybe something like this, these acrylic holders would work, that you could put your flyers in, or even one of these acrylic, you put your flyers and in front of it, one of these acrylic frames, so that nothing would fall out or blow out. And then these could be screwed down to, say, 2x4s that you could put on your, say, 4 of them in a row on your card table. It would be light enough to carry, and it wouldn't take up the whole card table. You could have a couple row of these. So then Pat and I looked at this and we thought, oh, isn't that clever? And then we thought, well, we don't know that the Conservation Commission wants to have plastic for all of their flyers, so what could we do for wood? So then we came up with this idea. Or we had this idea, and I found this in a thrift shop and got my brother-in-law to help me fix it. So this is just one of those, letter organizers. I don't know if you can, or one of those letter organizers. I don't know where the camera is. Where is it? Is it this thing? Where is that? What it is?
Oh, I think it's,
Or is it?
I think there are different ones.
You get the idea.
Yeah.
And what Pat uses on her table, and I know this involves some plastics, but I think it's the lesser of all the evils, is that she is a master gardener, and she usually represents and educates about invasive plants. Dan Steinbauer does insects. So she has laminated materials. So this, I didn't laminate. These are just like placeholders with a ring on them. So I thought that what we could do is, for instance, have laminated flyers with a little A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, and then also have that going down the spine of this holder there, so that wherever.
So
that you could.
So what are you gonna, you have this, and what do you do with?
So Pat had several of those just hanging out on the table,
Okay.
so people could look through them and say, oh, jumping worm A, I'll take one of the A's. Jumping worm, or knotweed B, I'll take one of the B's, so that they're organized in this, and it can be on a card table, and the wind won't blow it away, and then you have these laminated flyers there. What do you think?
Well,
Some combination of any of these, do you think could work to help? All right.
well, Betsy actually has been setting up the cardboard table with me on Green Up Day, and we've struggled with that. So what do you think, Betsy? You're muted. You're
Yep,
muted.
yep, yep. I find I appreciate the notion of the wood versus plastic. And I think that it would be great to have something like that kind of a file that's straightforward with a an index key on the side. I'm just wondering about storage and moving it about. I'm thinking of how often do we take flyers places, and what sort of environment are we in? Town hall, green up day, and our plant sale, pretty much that I can think of, unless anyone else thinks more.
Town meeting.
That's
Could do,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The one advantage of this particular one is it's light enough and small enough and can fit trifold brochures and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I think 10 different handouts
Mhm.
if needed. That's the advantage of this little guy.
Well, actually, we could use that, maybe they'd let us have it at the front door when it's not in use on a road trip.
Could be. Or it
Yeah.
could be, or I could take it and use it for my jumping worms, and then when you need it, you could get it from me.
Of course. What do you think there, Ben?
I think we ought to give it a try.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
Okay.
any sort of
that's all I got.
pulled it through already, and that's great. Thank you for your
Yeah.
construction prowess.
That's right. Yes. Well,
That was a really strong architectural design.
thank you. Good. So, take a deep breath and we'll start
Okay.
with brainstorming and planning. And Lori, you and Penny really did quite a bit of thinking about this in the last couple of weeks. Do you want to lead us through what the
Yeah,
matrix?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So the credit really goes to Penny because she kind of came up with it and organized a first draft. So just a really simple way to get everyone to vote on 32 items in one go. Yeah, so it's in that document. Everyone has their own little tabs so we can kind of avoid being skewed by other people's opinions. And I'm thinking like I just went through today and kind of added up the totals or had the spreadsheet do it for me. So then maybe we decide on items that have greater than 22 points or whatever it happens to be. Maybe those are ones that we try and explore more or yeah, just thinking about next steps.
Lori, I think this looks great.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I just wanted to confirm, you didn't need it to be private? It's okay that it's, because
I think it's okay. I couldn't
Okay.
really figure out a better way.
I thought of a way to do it. I just didn't have a chance to show you about it, but, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're worried about privacy, like who's deciding what,
Don't worry about it.
don't worry about it.
Okay.
Typically in, with my teams, I never
Never.
worried about it.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
There's one other thing, if I could just bring up, just food for thought, is remember that Lori put on the brainstorming, she had gone through I think Appendix A, you had started going through Appendix A, Lori, with the chapters, right, and putting down. On Appendix B, it's organized by the committee. So Appendix B, if you go down to Appendix B, it just has all the Conservation Commission action items that the town plan recommends. And it gives them a term, like long-term, medium-term, short-term. And I wonder if those, just food for thought, whether those should be gone through. It's 2 pages, really, 2.5 pages, as maybe a separate voting. And just see how many of those are covered in these proposed new ideas, because the proposed new ideas might carry out the goal of the town plan, but they might carry out one goal, like all the ideas, I mean, conceivably just taking it to extreme, could carry out one goal of the town plan, and the town plan has 75 goals, so for the Conservation Commission or 50 goals. So I just wondered if maybe,
I think we're gonna have to make copies of those.
yeah, that's fine. That's great. This is, it was in color, I think, in the,
Yeah, I didn't
I don't
know
know how to make copies. I'm not a copier.
about two, and then we can explain.
Penny,
I
is
think
that
that's-
in the town plan?
It is, Lori. It must have been the appendix after. Did you get yours from a list from charts? Is that what you started to copy your line items from, or were you actually going through the town plan?
I was going through the
Laboriously.
town plan, but I could have
Oh.
been in a different section.
Oh, I think you don't have to go through the town plan. Do you have the town plan there as a PDF?
Yeah.
Or you can, okay, if you go to Appendix A, you'll see how by the chapter it lists out action items. If you go to Appendix B, it has the Conservation Commission and has 2.5 pages of what the town plan assigns to them.
All right.
And then it talks about partners that the Conservation Commission would use. So for instance, I looked up one and it was like picking up litter on certain roads, like organizing that, and the partner would be the road foreman. And that was, I don't know if that's a long term or not, I can't remember. But it also says long term, short term. So that's
I
that's a real,
was copying in from Appendix A, but this is way more helpful.
yeah, it's less work to do it this way. But I think it's also an easier way to look at it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Than as Appendix A, not just, copying it.
So, okay, fortunately, Etsy and Patrick did not have.
I wonder, Lori, I didn't bring my computer. Are you able to snag that from the town plan? Do you have Acrobat or something that you could print out those pages into a PDF and email them?
Yeah. Yep, I do. So I'll do just the 2 pages, I think. Is it 2
Yeah, I
or
think
3
it's
maybe?
2.5. Yeah, it's 3 pages.
3
It's like
pages.
Okay.
2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll follow up to the email I sent yesterday.
Okay. So are you doing this now, or? Yes? Oh, okay. We can wait a minute.
I can tell Lori's a see the job, do the job kind of person.
Yes.
She'll probably have it done in 30 seconds.
Yes.
All right. So I think I just sent it. So I think this is what you're talking about, the mapping and research data.
It starts out
You
with
know if that wasn't it.
Conservation Commission, says CC, chapter number, policy number, strategy number, initiatives. Yep. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
So I'm just making a suggestion that whether I found this in the town plan, that it was an easier way to look at things, whether people wanted to think about that or not. I mean, it's up to you guys.
Well, what if I think some of us are just looking at this for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know how.
So how are we? I didn't actually think I would be voting since I'm not an official member on Lori's spreadsheet, but you were hoping to have this done tonight or
working on it, yes.
Working on it.
Yeah,
This could just join it in some form, however you want to think through it, just people reading it or
maybe join it and we can then walk it afterwards? Or, I mean, or
it's
we
a,
can,
it's a lot. I don't know, people even just to read it, to have it in their mind as they look at, I would say it's a big document. It's a lot of action items, to maybe just read it personally and just have it in mind as they're going through the new proposed items and just see if there's an overlap or if they're way out of one another's, realms or not.
well, I think some of the things like research and data gathering, some of this we'll do with the mapping.
Mm-hmm.
So I see that, and then I see that there's a section that talks about the mapping. And then some of these other ones, the riparian buffers and things like that, that's written into our Underhill land use and development regulations.
I haven't read this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not following easily, but yeah. So maybe that's already done.
Some of these things are done. They're not necessarily on our shoulders. I think the Planning Commission has written some of this into the regulations and we voted as a town on some of them, not all of them. But,
And a number of them require partners too.
so,
I mean, you could ignore them, or you could just read them over and just see if it stimulates any ideas.
well, how about if we sort of move ahead with the matrix that we have, and then as homework, we can
Sounds good.
review these. I actually did, I didn't know what you were talking about, but I have seen these. This is the beginning of the time, yeah.
I saw them years ago.
Yeah, so that might be an approach. Does that sound fair? We'll go ahead with the matrix. Everyone will have these on hand and we can review them. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, so going through this, should we read each one individual? I mean, or how do you want to do it? Typically, I've sort of done it on a computer by myself, but not for this, but for decision making.
Were you thinking about the voting, Karen, or?
Yeah, just the voting part. I mean,
one of the things that I was thinking as I was trying to help work out a spreadsheet isn't number 2 perhaps more of an objective question? Is that something that someone could research to answer that rather than everyone have to research it or think through it?
I think so, and that's where we'd be referencing this.
Right.
So we could just leave that. I could research it or go through it and get for the next meeting.
Right.
All right.
And we could even reference, what strategy it is that it carries out the goal of. So we have that for posterity that we're.
Okay, we can do that.
Is number 1, what is number 1 an opinion question, or is that more of an objective type thing, and how does that get answered?
I think we have to remember where this came from. Was the town of
Townsend or Thetford?
Thetford, I think it was, and perhaps things were going on there where they wanted to develop and invite more people into the commission and get to know what their conservation commission was doing. It may have been a very important point for them.
I'm guessing any project would help to strengthen the relationships with the community, I would think.
I would think so. So there's that. I think, two, I could do the crosswalk. Two of us could for next time. Maybe people should just read through these and start working on them by themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe though, so we could skip 2?
Yep.
We could skip 1 because 1 is probably yes for everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Could we skip, way to get out of doing things.
No.
Could we skip 3? Because aren't we, as the Natural Resources Inventory Mapping Committee, aren't we doing that?
Yes, we are.
So
we
now
are.
we're specifically doing that, so does anything else have to meet that requirement, really?
No. I don't think so. I mean, I think we're specifically doing it. So many of these things are dependent on that work being done and that. So actually, we don't need this here either. I think level of interest in being personally involved is important. Why don't we start with 4? And then 5, how feasible as a group. And then 6, should it be an overall? So I think it's 4, 5, and 6. We just,
Okay,
Go through
answer 4, 5, and 6,
Yeah.
and we can get rid of 1, 2, and 3.
yeah, I would think.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well done, Penny.
That's
I thought this
That's
had
the
to be
working
done
hat,
before
yeah.
this meeting. I'm like, holy, there's no way I'm gonna have this done.
Do you folks disagree with that? Do you think that that sounds reasonable, or getting rid of some of the questions?
Oh, not yes. I'm seeing yes from Betsy, Lori, Patrick. Yes.
Okay, boy, it seems more.
Okay.
It seems like less work.
Okay. So, are you able to?
I
How
can go in
about
online and delete the columns here. I know Amanda had some printed out.
Yes.
But if folks want to do it online, I can have it set up with just the last 3 questions.
Lori, that's not too hard, is it, to just delete
No.
3 columns from each of the tabs?
Nope.
Or you can have them in Excel. Yeah.
Lori's doing it in Sheets.
Oh.
So it's, yeah, hide, yeah.
Okay. So, Betsy and Pat, do you have yours up on your computer screens? The document? No? So it'd be helpful, then to if you're making a decision, maybe I should read, one of us should read the item that we're rating.
That would be helpful.
Okay. All right. The first item then is renovate, paint, spruce up Cranebrook kiosk sign, and maintain with up-to-date info.
So Karen, are you wanting us to vote right now? Are we taking votes right
Well,
now? Or
what would you like to do?
I think Lori, the way Lori has set it up, it needs to have a 0 through 5 rating to then add them up at the end to get to,
Okay.
right, Lori?
May I ask a question? I have it printed out. I have already planned events, projects, new ideas, and then town plan select board provided. Is that what I should be looking at? Renovate, resource pamphlet.
Yes, that one. Yeah. That's
Okay.
it. So you should be looking at that, but I think that this really is a good point. We're supposed to fill in our sheets.
Yes.
So I can't do that right with my cell phone right now. So this could be homework for us.
Homework.
All right.
Right, but maybe with a date in mind. like-
But maybe we can
Yeah.
still talk through it and just make sure
Yeah.
we're all thinking about how to answer these the same way. Because
Okay.
some of them
Okay.
I was misreading. Like number 5, I thought, how feasible is it for the UCC as a group or without partners? So, for example, I skipped over the as a group or with or without partners to actually get this done. So maybe we can just clarify, any ambiguity.
Oh, I thought that was a typo. got it.
What, with or without?
Right, with or without.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
So like for that one, many of these, where we're partnering with other groups, maybe the rec committee, how feasible is it for the UCC as a group with the rec committee to actually get this done? That's how we would read that, right?
Right,
Right.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. And right now, the partners that are coming to mind, but
As opposed to what might be the wrong way to read it?
Well, the wrong way to read it would be how feasible is it for the Conservation Commission as a group, us, or without partners to actually get this done, is what I was thinking.
with
Like
us
either
alone or
us
without.
or them, but it would have,
Oh,
but
okay.
partnerships you would have to.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
And right.
so it's how feasible is it for the CC as a group with or without to do it?
And that's an opinion.
That's an
right?
opinion,
Okay.
yeah. And thinking of partners, just as we're thinking of these line items.
And you were also, this was also thinking about community partners, right? Like knowing someone in the community that could help with this, or not necessarily just other committees, or?
I think my take, because when Jens was here, he specifically was very, he felt very strongly that the Conservation Committee cannot do it all, that we really need to, for example, one of us, Penny, would take a lead on jumping worms, but you might partner with someone from the community that then would want to, like, let's say Susan Adams, because of her work with the lives, to do something like that. Or if we had experts in the community, which we do on specific things that way, or someone that really had a strong opinion of creating a butterfly garden. Right? Is that how that's sort of,
Right.
In my head, I was mostly thinking about the town committees, because I haven't had time to think about who I know that are specific experts on some of these things.
We must have,
We have them. Yes.
surely.
Certainly. Yes, so, yeah, that's, okay, so, anyone have other questions about headers? I don't think so.
Well, Karen, here's a question, maybe. Maybe it's getting a little too detailed, but I noticed in the town plan list, it's talking about long-term, short-term, medium-term. So the last one, how big a priority should this be for the CCC to engage in the next 5 years? Is that a question that it could be, like, it would take over 5 years, like be working on it for 5 years, or it could be in 5 years, on the 5th year, we do such and such. Does that matter?
I had thought that, I think it depends on how we read them, but I had thought it would be over the next 5 years this should be part of a 5-year plan.
Plan, okay,
It's my impression.
okay.
When Jens was here, Laurie, was that your impression too? And Trinity, you were here when he was here too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so my impression was that we say, okay, we're gonna do this, like, kind of like you said, like, year 1, year 3, year 5, and, at different different months or seasons of the year.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of ideas here. If we jump on each one of them right now,
Right,
there's
right.
no way we could do that. But if you
Right.
put it into a 5-year plan, then that makes it a much more feasible.
Also, did he have anything to say? I was here one of the times that he was here, or he was only here once. I was here that time. Is there any thought for reviewing it annually. Did he say anything about that? Because other things may come up, like maybe a new invasive that you need to talk about, or maybe, just things that might come up, or skills that might come to the Conservation Commission, or ideas. Is there a thought about, did he talk at all about how to revise the 5-year plan, or reviewing it every so many years, or?
Well, he did not. I mean, I know that for the Vermont Lord and Horse Association, we have a 5-year plan, and this is year 4, and we looked at it year 3. Now we're looking again at year 4 to see where we are, and are there other things that we should be doing to augment our objective
Okay.
for the different things that we're working.
So you might introduce something.
Some new
like,
things.
Some new things. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for example, and this is very different, is increase our membership with targets to youth, let's say, and then obviously their parents. Okay, so how are we going to do that? We start thinking about, well, we have increased our membership, we have gotten that, but what are we getting our senses that the youth want to start doing with us? Turns out they want to do a lot of clinics, so we're going to build that into our plan.
Okay.
Yeah, things like that.
Oh, you're used to this kind of thing.
Right, I'm used to this, so I just have to wrap my head around that this is our conservation. Yeah, so I think that very much when we start this, we'll have to pick some that, let's say each one of us, or we might pick 3 things that 5 of us are all passionate about. 3 different things, or we could all help with one thing, and then start working on it. And that's what we do actually at the Horse Association, is we have some key people that are extremely interested in clinics right now that are building that. I'm really interested in how we're funding our scholarship program for kids. And so that's where I'm focusing with investing our money, the best, to get the most interest kind of things. And so they'll have money to go to wherever they want to go. So it's very, and then we have people that are very interested in creating products to promote the Morgan horse, which is why we're really who we are in Vermont, is to promote our Vermont state animal, which is the Morgan horse. So it's
Karen, would it then make sense that that we also designate a certain month every year to review, or work up to a review before the budget is due, in case we want to do something that requires money for the next year?
And that would be ideal, and that's actually what we do with the VMHA. So as soon as we can get into that swing, like right now, if we choose, we look at the list, we create top 7 that we're going to work on. I'm saying 7, it could be whatever. And we can't start some right now, or we can. And as we get into it, by this time, we've done a partial, let's say, creating a butterfly kiosk. So, and we start that, but we realize we're going to need more money to do the next phase. By that time, we're going to be into creating our budget, because the town is beginning to ask for money, our budget, earlier and earlier. This year it was in November they went, so we're going to be at a stage where, we have money now that we can, let's say, allocate towards the butterfly project. But we might want more. Well, we can do phase 1, but then we can ask for money for phase 2. I'm just using that as an example. For example, rebuilding the bridge that we had at the Crane Brook that went down the Rim Trail and meets the Crane Brook Trail. That bridge has disappeared. We don't have any money in our budget right now to replace it. And I don't know where it went, but I'm just saying, so for that, because we talked about sprucing up Crane Brook.
Mm.
We may or may not have money to rebuild that bridge right now, depending upon what else we need.
Was that human forces or natural forces that disappeared that
I
bridge?
don't know.
Huh.
So it's gone.
Huh. Oh,
So that's an example that would fit into this. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
Great. It's great, Karen, and experience.
Yeah. Or, I think, some of these other things we don't have to attach a budget to, like having Ethan come out to do another walk
Mm.
or something, but that would be sort of the way to sort of attach it to the budget. Okay. So do people pretty much feel comfortable going through this list on your own and then completing the sheet at, tonight or tomorrow or Wednesday? Or, if we could have it, if everybody could try to get that done by the end of the week, we'll have the totals. Because my understanding then is it automatically updates in that sheet.
It depends on how Laura's set it up. I can help her if she hasn't done that to set it up that way.
Yeah, so we'd have a count almost immediately once people did it,
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone should be able to edit it. It might not like automatically get the sums of each, column and row, but yeah, it should be all set up.
Okay, and
Laura, you're doing that on that locked tab. It automatically goes into that tab, the values to give you a final for each row. If not, I can help you do that.
Okay,
I
sounds
figured
good.
it out. Okay.
okay, good. Okay, so, and if folks are having trouble or they're not quite sure that it's totaling, send you an email or a text to say.
I don't think they'll see the total. People won't see the total. You just put the number on your own spreadsheet, and then Lori will have behind the scenes a tab that totals everything to find out once everyone's voted on renovating the paint and spruce up Crane Brook kiosk sign, she'll be able to get the totals on that.
But do we have to save our sheet, or is it?
It's live. It's sort of live. You do it and it's just, it's there.
Okay.
There's no save. You can't do save.
Okay, that's all I need to know. All right, good. Other questions? Patrick or Betsy?
I know I'm going to need some help just because I don't have the prowess of moving about, but I will persist and let you know when I need help.
Okay, we're
Just to
all
let you know,
Jackson.
it feels a little overwhelming right now, but I think it probably does to everyone.
Yeah, I think it'll go, since we don't have to worry about saving it or anything, I think it will go pretty fast. And with only 3 things to really think about, across the top, it should be fairly easy. Okay, other discussion points about this? If not, then educational events and updates. I think we should really strongly talk about which things we're going to offer this spring. I put in money for I don't think it was for somebody, maybe it was Bridget, or another birding outing. People seem to really like that. I think we put in money for that for this year. Who else would we like to invite as a speaker? I'd like to have Ethan. Ethan is free, and he's really helpful. And she's doing a new workshop on bird-friendly forests. That's not the title of it. I think I might have sent you the article today.
I think we talked about not having Bridget because of her expense and maybe doing Evergreen Herb or Maeve Kim instead.
That's right.
That's right.
And just an idea on a speaker, if we're possibly going to focus on doing some vernal pool kinds of investigating, it might be something to see if we could find someone who could speak on that. That's
Yes,
just
yeah, we did want someone from Vernal Pools, and there is someone now that's an expert that works for Fish and Wildlife, Vermont Fish and Wildlife. So I'll just have to look back in my emails to know the person's name.
The woman who, Stacy Pomeroy, about rivers, that was interesting. Maybe. She talked about the Browns River.
Oh, wait a minute. This was at the Planning Commission?
Yeah.
Yes, that would be good. I wasn't able to go.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah.
that was
Yes,
interesting.
that would be very good about the rivers. Really
Yeah.
helpful. And she's with also
She's
a
somewhere. And one of them.
Agency of Natural Resources somewhere.
Somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Who was it saying? Yeah. Are there any films or anything that people know about that would like to offer?
Karen, what are your thoughts about, is this a once a month thing, or are we trying to do this at regular intervals, or is it supposed to be seasonal? I guess birds are somewhat seasonal.
Well, so for example, you want to talk about the woods.
Right, or vernal pools before it's vernal pool season.
We need to have vernal pools, and that would be a live workshop. So
okay.
Yeah, so that has to happen in, I think, April. I'm guessing April. And I will find out who that person is. I think Stacy's anytime for rivers. Correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then if we have a birding person, ideally it'd be in the spring.
Makes it more exciting.
Yeah.
And what about following up on our monarch butterfly? Is that a presentation in the particular time of month that we want to?
July.
That's a very fancy thing.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
starts in July, but if we decide to try and engage with some of the schools, if that's what we decide to do, then I would do that pretty much right away and see if I could get any interest.
So that has to be in, Trinity, you mean interest as in, then people would want to congregate in the summer, you mean? Because you don't really have anything you can show them or do with them right now, right? So I see.
I mean, it would.
So you're sort of pitching it now for summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
To get it on calendars. So we keep.
Patrick, do you know if Fred Weisman might be available to speak on a topic?
I have no idea. I was very disappointed in his previous lecture. I didn't think it was very comprehensive at all. And he has been, what is the word? Well, he's no longer part of Alnabawi.
Oh, really?
I don't know what kind of transgression he may have been guilty of, but he was banned from the Winooski Valley Park District. So I can't offer any hope there. There are other Abenakis who are doing various kinds of teachings or guidance, but I would have to know what somebody specifically was interested in order to be able to find the right person. We're really having a hell of a time. We've been inundated with projects, grants, and internal controversy all at the same time.
Mm.
So I had thought last year, I was thinking how cool it would be if we could set up a deal where our folks did a rain dance, say in Moore Park or something of that sort. And we had some talk about it, but we have so much trouble keeping people. They wear their heart, on their chest, sleeve, face, everywhere else, and it's so difficult keeping everybody happy and focused.
But that would be really wonderful to have a rain dance in Moore Park.
Wouldn't that be
And then a
neat?
little bit of a learning session. I don't know how that could be
Wow.
organized though.
Yeah.
Oh,
That would
well, I should add to that. The last I knew, I was going to do a Abenaki artisan exhibition at the old schoolhouse in May.
So are you doing
Oh.
that?
Yeah, it looks. Last I knew, John Connell and Mary Hill were sort of in charge of the operation, and it might be part of that
Oh, the
artist
Underhill
artist and
Arts.
artisan where they go around to people's houses and see what they do. I'm
Open
not sure.
studio.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh, open studio
So
open
weekend.
studio.
that last I knew, that thing that we're going to do at the old schoolhouse was going to be pretty large. There will be hundreds of handcrafted items and sort of a rudimentary introduction to the Abenaki language. And um,
Oh, that sounds.
anyway, it'd be kind of a cool thing. And
Hmm.
Yeah.
I guess it's I guess it's the Historical Society that's sponsoring it.
It
Mm.
it be that it's tied in with the Open Studio weekend, which is the 25th and 26th of May, I think.
I think you're right. Yes,
And they're helping support the Arts Commission um, and having it held at the Historical Society at the schoolhouse. It's very
right,
exciting, isn't it?
right. And also, we have so many grants. I'm talking about Al Nobawi has so many grants. I'm not sure which one covers which, but um, we're going to be doing a traveling exhibition. Um, we haven't decided uh, when, where, what, how much, or anything. We just got the grant last week. So if there's anything that we do that has to do with gardening, nature, craft, um, culture, tradition, any of that sort of thing, I can certainly keep you posted as to what might be available and And then you could work on that. There's no, it's already paid for. There's no fee or anything like that. And it seems like there is a tremendous interest in the Native American culture at this point. So
I think, yeah.
it fits in with conservation.
Well, I wonder if the library might be interested in having some of their garden devoted to some traditional vegetables, or maybe here in our Moore Park area, that could then go in the sharing shed, something like that, related to the Abenaki, with traditional foods.
Yeah. That's pretty exciting. So next steps for this exhibit are Mary Hill, and then it's John Connell that's working on it, you said?
Yeah.
So Betsy knows something about it, probably. Yes,
And
I would say,
Yeah.
yeah.
and by the way, Green Up Day is May 4th.
Okay. Yes, we haven't planned anything yet for Green Up Day. So but we know it's there and it's coming up. Yeah,
Things come up quickly when you have a meeting once a month, right?
they do.
Well,
The Green Up folks in Montpelier have already started sending out things. I just sent out something last week trying to get more community members involved in Green Up Day and how to do it. And I think actually we might want to start talking to the town about making sure we have the folks that don't want to come from North Underhill along Route 15, maybe something at the fire department that we can have something where they can leave their.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
that was so helpful
Yeah,
the year that we did that.
yeah, so I'll have to talk to Brad actually. But I can talk to Brad about that. And maybe the next time we can start thinking about what we could offer for Green Up Day at the town garage. Hopefully it won't rain or snow. 2 years ago, and we had something like, 5 inches of snow.
Oh, I remember
Yeah,
that.
for Green Up Day, yeah.
So Karen, sorry, to go back to the educational events. So
Yeah.
birds in the spring, so maybe just Jolly's writing down May, birds May.
Maybe, yes.
So maybe May, Maeve on May.
Yeah,
Vernal Pool April.
probably April. I have to try to get on somebody's,
If the Abenaki event, Pat's Abenaki event is May, okay. Green Up Day is May.
yeah. The rivers, we might be able to have, I don't know how full Stacy's calendar is. But maybe we could have that as, already maybe in March. Depends on her count, how busy she is, or early April. Maybe not. And then butterfly,
So Monarchs July.
July, but,
Are you in town, do you think? Or do you
At
know
this
if you-
point, I am. I mean, I think Penny, you kind of have a point. Like, it might be a good idea to provide some sort of awareness campaign prior to July, prior to people traveling, maybe a presentation, just so people are aware. I don't know if there's anybody that does presentations. I'm not a seasoned presenter, but maybe there are people who know something that I can kind of look into that too.
Or maybe it could be a combination, sort of something about insects or something about the monarchs. Who knows, with a specialty monarchs that you could present. Like a collaboration.
or even preparing your garden for for the monarchs.
Yeah,
Mm,
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah, something.
Mhm. The Vermont Entomological Society, I can check with them. I think we're on their mailing list. My family is.
Oh, good.
You can just see what people are doing in Vermont for monarchs.
Right, and it could be tied into pollinator gardens, as you say. And right now, I presume, I wonder if in future years we might want to promote the conservation district bare root sales. You know about those, right?
Oh, yes, but yeah, we'd have to start doing something soon because I think those sales are in March, aren't they?
Well, they run on different days. Like Lamoille is the last. Right now, Winooski is taking orders. And do you know about those? They're wonderful. And so you can get bare root shrubs and trees, fruit bushes, fruit trees for $10 or the like. And they're bare roots, so there are no jumping worm issues. But I mean, not even sell them ourselves, but just make people aware of them. One of the things maybe on our website or something, we make people aware of that sort of thing. But that's also, those are pollinators, so that could be tied into the whole pollinator effort related to monarchs, maybe too.
But who do you contact for the bare roots? Is that,
I go to the websites of the conservation districts.
so
if you need
Lamoille, let's say.
I can send them to you. I can send you the link. I'll send you the Mount Mansell Village's newsletter. They're in there.
Oh,
That's it.
are they in there? 'Cause
Yeah, I put them in there.
you send it to me.
Okay, it's in there.
Okay. But maybe send it out to, I don't know that everybody here.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. Okay, I think these are good ideas for right now.
Yeah.
And what I can do is I will need someone to talk to Evergreen or him about
I
something.
think
But
Betsy.
Betsy,
Yes.
Can you talk to Evergreen or Kim about
Yes.
birds in the spring? Okay. I'll talk to whoever. I'm blanking on who the woman's or the individual name is about vernal pools, but I'll find that out and find out if it can come. And then Stacy is rivers. I think that's something that maybe Sandy knows her.
Mm-hmm. She knows how to contact.
Yeah, I'll talk to Sandy.
You're going to leave here with a to-do list, like 20 items long. You could delegate.
Okay, who wants to talk to Sandy
I'll
about
talk
the
to
rivers?
Sandy about
Okay,
that.
I would love that. All right. So right now I'm doing the vernal pools, and Trinity's going to be working on the monarchs. Penny will be doing the rivers, and Betsy will be doing the birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Patrick, maybe you can keep us up to date on the artisan exhibit and everything.
Sure.
Okay.
And
Just
Kitty, not me. Please, Kitty. No.
allergic reason.
I'm allergic.
Oh,
He loves me.
come here, sweetie. Come over here.
one question. We've talked about a film series again. Maybe that would be something to have as a long range happening later in the fall. Is that of interest?
Very much so.
I think also the Jericho Conservation Commission does film, and I think that it might be nice to collaborate with them. What do you think?
Sure.
We could. I didn't. Sure. I wasn't aware that they did films.
I'm pretty sure they do, but I'll double check.
Too.
Well,
But
Should I check on that, Betsy? You want me to?
sure, that'd be great. And I'm just suggesting that we've got some good work to do now through summer. I'd be happy to look at some ideas for films, imagining that we would do that later when we're not all outside enjoying things like that.
That's a great idea.
I think that's a great idea. And I thought we had some fabulous films that, we
Yeah.
did it. It was pre-COVID. We just got underneath the wire and yes.
At the library or?
It was I think they were all at the library,
Were they?
weren't they?
Yep.
We had, yeah. And here we had actually a talk about busy beavers just before it too.
Beavers.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'd like to see the tiniest farm again. That was
Yeah, it's fun.
yeah. Yeah.
Betsy, have you been able to find any time to noodle on some ideas for either letterhead or logo that if we were to advertise the educational series to put something a little bit different looking, or should we just use what we've had in the past?
I think we better use what we have in the past. It's kind of slow going, and I've been a little bit out of commission with foot stuff, and which gives me lots of time to think. And anyway, energy hasn't quite been there, but yeah, I think let's go ahead because otherwise it may not happen by the time we want to get the information out for
Okay.
March, April, and May. But I will keep
Right.
working, and I'll inquire with you as well, Penny.
It's your back burner, just on your back burner.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, thank you all for volunteering.
So Karen, do we need to correspond about any of this before the March? Is this February? It's February, right?
This is February in the March.
Before the March meeting, or is it to bring ideas and information to the March meeting is enough, or do we have to do anything ahead of time?
It
Any
would be
decisions?
nice if we could perhaps do a little, sometimes we do a little, this is what we're going to be doing ahead, but we don't have any dates tied down, and I'm not sure we can get that together for the March meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit at USAN, so probably I think we should, I think we can communicate together about that prior to the March meeting, or as long as we know we have a deadline at the March to come back with some info.
Okay.
All right, and then for the town meeting,
Which is
March 4th. We probably won't talk about upcoming events, but maybe we could just update everybody and remind them that we have a really nice page on the town of Underhill's website.
Yeah.
I think that would probably be it.
So March 5th.
4th, is it March? Oh,
March 5th, Tuesday, March 5th.
wait, no, our meeting is not then.
No, that's town meeting. Sorry.
Yeah, the town meeting. Our meeting is March 11th.
Yeah, okay.
So, yes. And town meeting planning, I was hoping we'd have some of the maps up, a map up.
Oh,
to bring
nice idea.
The town meeting. So,
do you remember the places we're putting them? Where are we putting them on that floor?
The library, the town hall, and
Phil Jacobs?
Maybe. I'm not.
And town meeting? Was that the idea?
I thought town meeting. So what we should actually though, not everybody knows
Update
about.
everyone?
Yes. To contribute to the effort of the mapping that's going on in the town to identify wildlife corridors and forest blocks and wetlands and things like that. Right now, the consultants have been doing some work, and now they're working on field work. They're going out to do field studies to make sure that what comes across on the ANR maps is valid, and also to confirm things like wildlife corridors, which are not going to necessarily show up on anything, or they might. And so one of the ways that the consultants have gotten a lot of information is through the townsfolk to talk about, especially in terms of the wildlife. And maybe I don't think we're asking for natural communities, but we created these maps. And these maps are for asking folks, so I don't know if anyone can see it. You can't really see the maps, but they're here. And
I can see them
Yeah.
there.
yeah, and we will have these in the locations that we just mentioned. So the town
And online.
and
Right.
and online. And what we're asking folks is to give the location of where they've cited the bobcats or the foxes or whatever. So we'll have an idea of how they are, where they live, where they reside, and how they, where they travel. And hopefully that will correspond perhaps to the natural communities in terms of, for example, beech trees and hemlock and cherry are trees that have mass, so they provide food for wildlife and the animals. And then, of course, the big fish, the bigger creatures eat the little creatures, but that's where you're going to see a lot of this wildlife. And so we might, although this is only asking for wildlife, it would be good to know if there are communities of beech trees, like where Patrick and I live. There are hemlock and beech and cherry up around there. So that's one of the reasons, in addition to the wetlands that we have, that why we see so much wildlife coming through. And they're beginning to move around now. Foxes are out, you can tell, things like that.
You'll have your little fawns before you know it.
Yes, we will. So, but anyway, so the idea is that we will be compiling the information that folks give us about that to give a better picture of what Underhill's really like. I think that's the goal, basically. Penny's joined. When we first started, I think Amy was on with me for the natural resources inventory mapping, and then Craig replaced Amy, and now we've commandeered Penny from the general public, but maybe part of us, to be on it, as well as also Ryan Oakes, who is, of course, the forester for the range. So yeah. He's more than a forester. He does a lot of the mapping and things for the range. Do people have questions about that, the mapping, and then what might happen at town meeting? We'll be using those maps. Is there anything I've omitted?
Well, I have a question. So at town, given that I just was talking about presenting materials at town meeting, is the Conservation Commission going to have flyers and brochures on anything, or questionnaires, or what is anything planned?
Well, we haven't planned
a card table.
We could do a card table, and I can get some flyers, but typically we don't have enough. Oh, actually, Betsy, we have flyers left over, don't we?
I have a whole box of flyers that cover some invasives, I think ticks, bears, and
good.
something
Yeah.
else.
Yes.
But we should definitely put jumping marks in there.
Yes, yeah. So we could put some flyers out, and then that would be there. This map.
And so does that mean you need a card table and you need people to man this, and this is before our next meeting, or how do you want to?
Well, we do need a table, and I think we
I've brought
have
it
to.
in the past, a card table.
Yeah. Is that something I could pick up from you? I don't know how, what's going on with your mobility, is the way to say it.
Your
Um,
footsies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can, I'll plan to bring it and set it up. I think they sometimes ask that it happen the night before.
Yeah.
But for sure, by 9 o'clock in the morning on town meeting, I'll bring the card table and the flyers, and we do have that backdrop from the past. But if we're going to have the map, we don't necessarily need um, the poster board.
Well, I think the map's going to be on an easel, or doesn't have to be, but I think Sandy was planning for maps on easel, and then there's some instructions on it or something, so I don't know that it goes on a table. I don't know what.
No, it has to be standing up, I thought, on an easel. Yeah, don't you think?
I think it'd be easier for people to get to it than across a table, maybe. I don't know.
So
Oh,
I can update briefly the backdrop and sort of create what we've usually had for town meeting day, if that fits, without putting a whole lot of.
Do you have time, Betsy? Do you have time and energy?
I have time to update, but not to create a brand new display. Yeah, I can do that.
So do you typically have someone man the table, or the table just hangs out there for the day?
it's typically people might be there for a while.
Okay. It's not necessary though, right?
It's not, well, we used to try to be there, but there are so few of us right now that I don't even know who's going to be coming. I'll go to town meeting for sure. I think that probably you, me, and Sandy might be by the map at different times. I would suggest, and not that we can sort of be by the table, but I don't think it has to be manned for the whole time for the meeting, because then the person that's there is going to be perhaps missing important parts of the meeting.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I have Rudolph antlers we could put on for beside the map for wildlife sightings. We're gonna get up on antlers.
Sure. I have some bunny ears too.
I have ears too.
Yeah. Let's do something funny. All right. Okay, good. Are we good with the planning with that? I think so. It's simple. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll confirm, I think we're having a natural resources meeting next Tuesday or the following Tuesday. Something. I think. So, yeah, we'll be set. And we'll connect with Sandy.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Let's see. And anything else? Oh, you know what would be really nice though is, because I hate to use the one that you gave me, but if you have like one or two photos of monarchs or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can have some
Or
printed.
print, it doesn't have, just simple printing,
Yeah.
so we can use that, because that would be nice to have, to talk, that would be really nice to talk about that whole thing with the monarchs and the kids and the.
We have the way station brochures still.
Yeah.
Probably Betsy has them if she's got all the brochures. You could put those out.
Yeah.
Do you have a monarch costume, and could you come to town meeting?
I do have a monarch costume. No, I'm kidding.
You look like a Halloween crew.
Oh, Penny, you have such a delightful sense of humor.
I like the way that you said yes, I do. It's good. That's good.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll see what I can bring with me.
Uh,
If I'm coming. When is the town meeting? Is it during the daytime?
Yes, it's,
It starts at 9, Betsy, usually?
yes,
9?
starts at 9.
9 to, oh, wait, are you here maybe?
It's March 5th, Starts at 9. And there's a lot of discussion and everything at 9, and sometimes it goes till 10:30. They talk about budget and things like that.
Karen, it used to go till noon if people argued, and then you'd stop to have lunch.
Yeah, and then there is then folks have lunch and eat with people. You know, some people stay and some people don't. People go in and out.
And there's voting during the day, throughout the whole
I
day.
think the voting goes till 7.
7 to 7.
But that's, primarily we've only been there for the morning. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it says 9 o'clock. It doesn't say how long.
Yeah, it's until it finishes. What they do is they go through the town report.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
you can pick up the town report at the front, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think time-wise, I don't know that they timed it, but.
Oh, that's winter break still for the school.
Oh, it is? Oh, yes, it is.
The last
Isn't it
day.
always? And
Oh,
don't they
yes.
have
Do
usually
kids come to it?
No, I think they used to have the Girl Scouts would babysit the kids down the hall sort of thing, and there was childcare offered. I don't know if there is anymore.
Sometimes kids come though and they just sit there.
You do?
They do on
In
the
the
bleachers.
audience?
On the bleachers, yeah.
Really? Boring.
It's part of understanding civic duty and government in Vermont. What are you talking about? Penny?
The road budget. Well, that is
It's
important.
a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
Well, I want to say when I was growing up in Woodstock, you didn't get I don't remember why, but we had to be there. It was part of the school. Like, it was 6th or 7th grade in Vermont history. You had to go to the town meeting as part of your homework.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, will be my homework.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, one way or another, we'll make sure that there's some Monarch present stuff available.
Okay, good.
If you, Trinity, if you get it to me, I can try and incorporate it to the little, to the poster board.
Okay.
Some photographs and some, a little bit of written information, or tell me what to print out and I can do that.
Do you want digital images or do you want hard copies of things?
Hard copies, please.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay. Good. So we're all set with that. Let's see, the minutes, which I did not print off. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Looks good to me.
Lori sent them out. Let's see.
I may have reviewed them right away.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, maybe like buried in my memory, but I can probably read this right away.
Okay.
I got it.
You got it?
Mhm.
Yeah, I just want to, I read them. I just usually print them out. Lori G. Okay, I just want to make sure we have, okay, so Betsy was there, Trinity, Pat, Lori, and Penny. Penny, you can't vote right now unless you want to become a member. Okay, so that was where we had talked about the brainstorming session. Town meeting planning. And that was it. It was a very short meeting. It was over before 8 o'clock. So is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
And a second.
I second.
Okay, Trinity. And all right, a discussion about the minutes. Hearing that there's no discussion, all in favor then of approving the minutes, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. Oh, wait a minute. Well, it was unanimous. Okay, so the minutes pass. Thank you. And if there is nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn? Pat making motion to adjourn? And seconded by Trinity? All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye, and we're adjourning at 7:58. So thank you
Hey,
very
that's
much.
pretty close, huh?
Thank you very much.